Guys, you get to my age, you start thinking back about things that you've done in your life. Now, there's some things that even still surprise me to this day. Uh, I was sitting here thinking back, rolling my cigarettes and stuff out here in the barn. I spend a lot of time just me and Jesus sitting around here, out here in the barn. So I talk to him all the time. Uh, I'm trying to keep on subject. But I'm sitting here thinking, and I was remembering back. Uh, I don't know what you guys were doing at 14. Uh, my mom and dad was wondering at one time when I was 14, where's Brian? Where is he? We haven't seen him. I was hitchhiking from Greenwood, Indiana, all the way down to Caryville, Tennessee, which is about 50 miles north of Knoxville, I-75. And by car from that town down to Tennessee, where I was headed to my uncle's house, there was about 400 miles. I ask you again, what were you doing at 14? Well, I made it down there, and I would fight with my parents over something. I don't know. I was always fighting. And I'd rather have been down there, so I went, hitchhiked. I had a butcher knife, one big old butcher knife I had in my backpack. And I hitchhiked down there, and I got rides. Matter of fact, the last ride I got picked up, I told them where I was going. I was already on I-75, and I fell asleep in the back of their car. They were family. That's how young I was. 14, folks. This family picked me up. They had a couple of kids in the back seat. The kids fell asleep. I fell asleep. And when we got to the exit I told them I was going to, they pulled over and said, "Hey, Brian, hey, we're here." And they dropped me off at that exit, and I walked on into town. I've always been protected. But this same guy, or there was a guy down there that was married to one of my cousins back when I was that young. One of my female cousins. Because I did say it was a guy that was married. And it just blows my mind that I have to verify what I'm saying today. How far away from God can you get? Anyway, they allowed me to stay there for a little bit, and then they volunteered my cousin's husband to drive me that 400 miles back up to Indianapolis, or Greenwood, basically, just south of Indianapolis. And he did it back when I was 14, folks. Now, this guy, I was remembering that, sitting here, my old man brain running. And then I remembered me and my wife and my kids moved to Tennessee. It was like 30 years later. Now, this guy, I've been hearing about what he'd been doing. Now, he owned three, I can't remember the name, they're fast food restaurants. And he owned all three franchises, but two of them, he even owned the land that they were renting from him to have their franchise on. He owned the land as well. So by the time he got to my age right now, he was sitting pretty good. And he was telling me, he was trying to find something. He was going, man, he's got this brand new red Charger, he was telling me, that's sitting down in Alabama. And he let this girl talk him in, a young girl. young 20-something-year-old girl. Talk him into buying her or getting her this car, and he paid cash for it and gave it or was letting her use it. He kept it in his name. He paid the insurances and all that on it. He also set her up an apartment or a house. It wasn't an apartment, it was a house. And he was paying the rent and the light bills and everything on that. But he starts telling me, she don't want nothing to do with him anymore and just leave him alone and everything. So he wanted to go down and get that Charger and bring it back up to Tennessee. I said, is it in your name? He goes, yeah. The insurance and all's in your name, everything? And he goes, yeah. And he showed me the paperwork. I said, all right, well, I'll ride down there with you and get that car. Then he goes, all right, I'll pay you. He's going to pay me to do it. I can do it from where I was in Tennessee, I could do it in about 10 hours. 5 hours down, grab the car and go. Well, he failed to tell me that the car would be parked in the back of the house inside a fence until we were 3/4 of the way there. Now I'm like, oh, it's not going to be parked in a driveway like out front or something. No, it's going to have to come down an alley and come into the back where they park it. There's not a gate, but it's parked under a carport in the back of the house. And I'm like, oh, okay. As we're going down, he's telling me that the guys that she's been running with been running drugs out of his house that he pays rent on and everything. Oh yeah. This is information that I should have known beforehand. But this guy thought I was still a young, dumbass 14-year-old kid, I guess. But I didn't have a problem with it. I had a set of keys. I know it was in the back. I'd have to sneak up on it. And I told him, I said, I'm going to get in that car. And the first thing I'm going to do is pull out the paperwork that's inside the car. And your name better be on that stuff. He said, it'll be on there, I guarantee it. I said, all right, because as soon as I see your name on the title and the insurance and everything I can find in the car, I'll get it out of there, make no doubt. And so we went around and he showed me where it was. I said, well, go up here, pull up here, let me out. I got out. I said, now, I told him, when you see me come out, because he was going to be sitting right there, I said, I'm going to come right by you. You follow me in case anything happens. You're the owner. He said, all right. I snuck my butt up in there. I got inside that car. Nobody knew it. I opened up the glove box. I pulled out the paperwork, had his name all over everything. Put it back in the glove box, fired that Charger up, backed it out of there, swung it around, whipped up, went forward, come by him. He followed me. I pulled into we hit the interstate, first truck stop I found. I pulled over into that truck stop, got out, started going through that car. Found a 1/4 pound of weed, stuffed in, pulled back one of the plastic pieces in the back in the trunk, stuffed away back into the back. I found it. I handed it over to him. I searched that car from front to back. I'm not stupid. I said, now, I'll drive it back to Tennessee. And I did. He had the drugs in his car, not mine. He thought he was going to get me to haul that up there for him. Didn't happen. And I didn't even hang with him. He was driving a big old Ford Explorer, or Expedition. And I was in that Dodge Charger brand new, or it was like maybe 2 years old. And I was running 80, 90 mile an hour up that interstate. He wasn't staying with me. I got away from him, and I took my own route back to the house. I wasn't following nobody, doing nothing. I took my own route. There wasn't nobody else searching that car. I was getting it back there and go park and get out of it and never get back in it. That's the kind of stupid stuff I've used to do, folks. And it was almost 20 years ago when all that went on. Love you guys. God loves you. Just me running my mouth, telling you things that happened to me. I've always been protected. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just have. And I thank God for that. Seek Jesus. You'll understand what I mean. Honestly, wholeheartedly, heart, mind, and soul. Seek Jesus. You'll understand. Love you guys. Till the next one.